Perfect. The meeting is being recorded, so if you misbehave during the meeting, your face will be all over the internet of you misbehaving. Like I was saying, I used to do short hair and barbering. Excuse me, men's hair barbering. That's what I used to say. I recalibrated, if I should say this, or I got on with the new days, and I say now that I do short hair. So I specialize in short hair. Everything that we'll talk about today can be worn by men, women, everything in between. It is as inclusive as it comes. My goal is to make everyone feel comfortable in my chair, and it is to create fluids and fashion forward haircuts, but short hair specifically, so that everyone can wear it and everyone can be happy. So if there's anything that I want you guys to remember from today and learn from today, is those three keywords. Everything that we'll talk about today is about texture. So we're going to talk a lot about texture. Effortless, which means I want your client to be, I want it to be as easy as possible for them when they're at home, when you're not there. Your job is to make it effortless for them. The cut looks effortless as well. And live in. I don't know about you guys, but every time I talk to my clients, what I hear the most is my haircuts looks the best after maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. It's lifted a little bit. It's, like it has some time in it. It's not as straight. It's not as like everything is equal. So there's a little bit more texture and there's a little bit of like wispiness to it. My goal is to reproduce that exact feel and look as soon as they come out the chair. So everything that we'll do today will look like they didn't just get a haircut. That's what I tell my clients all the time. My goal is for you to like get out and everyone's not like, hey, did you get a haircut? Unless they had like hair down to their waist and now they cut it above their shoulders. Maybe someone will say, I think you got a haircut, but I don't want them to look like they just got out of the salon kind of thing. I want it to be effortless. Like I said, I want it to be lifted and I want it to have a lot of texture. We'll jump right into it. We only have an hour together today and we have a lot of stuff to talk about. So today we'll do something like this here. We'll do a little shag, little mod situation. I think it's the haircut that I do the most nowadays in the salon. It is the most versatile, most polyvalent haircut, if I can say this. You can either do it short, you can do it long, you can shave the sides, you can take the top longer, you can take the top shorter. It's however you want. We'll keep it a little bit more traditional. We'll do something, like the classic shag mod haircut like this. It's going to be a lot of texture and we're going to jump right into it. So first things first, my client comes into my chair. I want to make sure that I work with as much moisture, as much water as possible. Why? Because when your hair is wet, you have the most control over it as possible. Your sections will be a lot cleaner. It will be a lot easier for you to see all your sections and to really go in it and be as precise as possible. I don't know if I'm going to take you out of your comfort zone today. If I am, I'm very happy. If not, perfect. We'll learn a little bit more in depth about it. But everything we'll do today, or I'd say maybe 95% of the cut, we'll do it this tool over here, my little feather blade. Why am I using my feather blade instead of my scissors? Well, there's multiple reasons. The first reason is I'm saving a lot of time by using my blade. If you go in with the scissors and you do everything straight and then you add texture, you're working double time. Time is money. We want to do as many clients as possible in a day to make sure that, we live best, to make the most money possible. So by using our feather, we're cutting our time in half by not having to do our whole haircut at first and then go in and texturize. We'll do the texturizing at the same time as we're cutting. So that's why I'm going to use my blade today. I'd say in the salon, I also use my blade 90% of the time. All right, so first things first, we're going to create our little perimeter at the bottom. We're going to start our neckline over here to create our guide for the whole haircut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my first section at the bottom over here. We're going to go a little under the hairline. I'm going to hold my blade like a pencil like this. So I have a lot of fluidity when I can use my movement like that. And I'm going to go in and I'm just going to create my little perimeter at the bottom as such. I don't want it to be too straight. I don't want it to be too perfect. I want it to look a little dirty. I want it to look as if we haven't cut our hair in a couple of weeks. It's the whole purpose of this haircut. So I'm going to go in as such to create my little perimeter. It's all right if there's parts that are shorter. It's all right if there's parts that are longer. We want to make it as natural and lived in as possible. All right. Keep going in. All right. As soon as I created my perimeter at the bottom, I can go in my length over here and create layers. So what I'm going to do for this, I want it to be as effortless as possible for my client. To do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take vertical sections, the whole head. I'm going to hold my blade as such, and I'm going to create little diagonal movements towards the ceiling like this to create short hair that are going to push on my longer hair to create natural flips that are going to go through the whole head. It's going to be super easy after this for my hair to just naturally flip as such. So my client, when they're at home, they can just put a little bit of products, shake it, and naturally it's going to have a bunch of texture. So I'll show you guys right away. Vertical section, I start in the middle, push everything to the side, push everything the other side. I'm going to find my guide at the bottom that I just created with my neckline right over here. Take everything up. I'm going to take my blade like a little pencil and then boom, and just go up like this. And I'm going to follow the roundness of the head. I'm not just going to create a 90-degree line, because if I did that, what would happen is the top of my head would be longer. That means there would be more weight, probably too much weight, and it would just fall on top like this. And then there would only be texture at the middle bottom part. But we want to have texture all over. See how I created these little flips already? Super easy. I just did one little movement and it's done. I'm going to wet my hair a little bit more. I want to work with as much moisture as possible to be as precise as possible, like I said. I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the whole head like this. So grab my guide at the bottom, take it up 90 degree, and do the full head like this. That is me. I drop my stuff probably 40 times a day in the salon. It's become so much that in the studio that I work at the Park Studio in Montreal, when everyone drops something, everyone's saying that they pulled a Jeremy. So it's something that I do constantly. So much that I also broke all my tools now, but that's another story. All right. I can already see the little flips being created all around. I'm going to go in, finish my right side, grab my guide at the bottom, grab my blade like a pencil, create these diagonal movements towards the ceiling so I can have my short hair that push my long hair to have my hair naturally flip and create something that is very effortless. Sweet. Make sure that I go all around. I don't just do a 90 degree. And there you go. Already, you really see the little flips that are coming in. Super easy. When I finish my right section, grab it at the bottom. See, I didn't grab it like a pencil. I'm struggling a little bit. The reason why I grab it like a pencil and I'm not grabbing it like this, and I would just do like a wrist movement. This reason is it's a lot easier for me to create fluid movements when I'm holding it like a pencil and I'm just working with my finger than it would be holding it like this and creating movement with my wrist. I feel like it's more movement. I'm going to get very tired very quickly. Well, if I'm just doing it with my finger like this, I could do this all day. I can work my finger all day. All right. Finishing this last section on the right over here. Creating my little flips. And there you go. All right. If you see one side compared to the other, this has no texture whatsoever. And then you see this side that is full of texture, full of flips. I'm going to do the other side a little bit more quickly. I think you guys understand the concept of this. I'll show you guys what it would look like in the salon. So I'm just talking to my client. I just do a repetitive movement. I know where I'm going with this. I do it constantly. So I'll just go right away. And when you get very comfortable with the movement, you can do it extremely quickly. You save a lot of time. You can take more clients during your day, make more money, buy more useless stuff. Okay. I think my girlfriend's a little tired of me buying motorcycle stuff. She's probably very tired of me spending money on dumb stuff, but hey, that's what it is. I'm sorry. Sweet. I'm gonna go in it all the way up, take my sections, boom. Finish my left side over here so we can jump onto the sides. Hold it like a pencil, create my diagonal movements towards the ceiling, go all around, go in the roundness of the head. If I go a little too long at the top, I'll take out a little bit more. I like to play with it as I'm going along. I like to see what it looks like when I'm working with my movement. I'm going to take my guide at the bottom, hold it like a pencil. Diagonal movements towards the ceiling, creating my little flips. Texture, texture, texture. Removal of weight. And then here you go. So this is what it looks like from the back now. I have my little flips at the bottom and all around my head. My neckline looks a little bit longer than the rest to create this sort of mullet feeling. We don't want it too
Jeremy,
long.
there's a couple of questions in the chat. Did you want me to read them out to you?
Yes, if you want to.
Okay. So Jeremy is asking, if you were doing this cut on somebody with extra curly hair, would you still go in with a razor or would you go in with scissors to avoid risking shattering the cuticle?
That is a very, 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 very good question. Never use the blade on extremely curly hair. It will absolutely shatter your cuticle. And then what will happen after is you'll have something that is very, very frizzy and puffy. You'll lose all the texture. You'll do the exact opposite of what we want, and it will damage your client's hair. So in really curly hair, I would do everything with the scissors. And anyway, you already have your texture that you're looking for in curly hair, so you don't have to enhance it even more. So this is really from straight to wavy hair, and then yeah, as soon as it comes with curly hair, then use your scissors right away. Extremely good question. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to jump in on the sides over here. If there's more questions, please feel free. But I think we have already a lot to talk about. So I'll maybe, if it's not time sensitive, I'll try to answer the questions more towards the end. So we have time to answer, to go over everything. Sorry. All right, for my sides. For my sideburns over here, I want to keep some of the lines, definitely. I don't want it to be too mullety. So I want to have like a nice harmony between everything. So I don't want to go like super short at the sideburns and the rest goes longer. But I don't want it to go, I don't want to go too long either. I don't want it to go like too mud cut that it goes like towards the jaw and there's like this super long sideburns. It is a nice style. I do it quite often, but for this particular haircut today, I wanted to keep it a little bit more classic so that everyone can wear it. I feel like, yeah, the super long sideburns are a little bit more on the edgier side, and it's not a haircut that you can wear for every occasion. So I like to keep it pretty classic, pretty traditional over here. So I'm gonna go in, same thing that I did with the bottom, and I'm just making sure that I create this little wispy ends at the bottom to play with and create this little guide towards the bottom. All right, sweet. When I did this, I'm gonna go around my ear and create my little perimeter over there. I want to follow the guide that I created at the back and my sideburns. So I'm going to follow these two guidelines over here to really have my length for around my ear as well. So I'm going to go in, take this guide over here, do my little razor movement, go around my ear, and establish my length around my ear. All right, sweet. Now that I did this, I want to do exactly the same thing that I did at the back. I'm going to take vertical sections, find my guide at the bottom, go with the roundness of the head, do my little pencil movement towards the ceiling diagonally, and create a bunch of texture and little flips to create this very effortless style and texture. Sweet. Awesome. Go all the way to the front. You know, the weird thing about mannequin heads, their hairline goes very, very low at the sideburns. So sometimes I like to shave it a little higher because I feel like it doesn't to have a sideburns that goes over here. If you look at it, it's very, very low. So maybe sometimes what I like to do with mannequin heads, because I practice a lot on mannequin heads, I'll just grab this part over here, go maybe towards half my ear and shave this part. I just feel like it definitely looks more natural. And I can create a little bit more, something a little bit more realistic with these. All right, go back in. And there you go. Sweet. Now that my left side is done, I'm going to jump on my right side. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to shave this part right away. Go in, off my ear, boom, goodbye. Sweet. Make sure that I wet my hair properly. Make sure that there's a bunch of moisture so I can be super precise in what I'm doing. I want to make sure that I have as much tension as possible so I create very clean sections. My whole head. All right. Create my little length for my sideburns, pencil movement. All around. Create something very lived in, natural. Texturize. Sweet. All right. I'm going to create my length around my ear. Use my guide that I created at the back and my sideburn. Go a little bit around my ear and establish that nice length over here. Sweet. Perfect. Same thing that I did the whole head. Take it vertically. Put it up. Create diagonal movements towards the ceiling. So I have my flips that are getting created. I'm going to do that from the front to the back. And play with it, see what it looks like. Yeah, this is starting to look super nice. All right, grab this last section over here. And there you go. Sometimes I just take the back section over there, put it towards the front, see if everything is in harmony. There's nothing that hangs out. And I just go ahead and I touch it up a little bit more. So I don't have to do a bunch more personalization of my haircut at the end. See, like over here, this is a little too long for me compared to the rest, just behind the ear. So I just go in to make sure that everything makes sense. All right, cool. Now the real fun starts. The top. I think in these kinds of haircut, everything comes alive and adds more personalization and personality in my top, especially with my fringe. Fringes are super fun to me. I think you can do so many things with them. I think it really creates the whole haircut. If we want it to be super edgy, we could do little micro bangs, very, very straight, super textured. We could have like one part longer, one part shorter. On these types of styles, I like to do some sort of a curtain bang. It's not necessarily a curtain bang in the very traditional feminine terms. I'm not going to do something that's going to be like very, very curtainy, but it is going to be a little shorter in the middle and a little longer towards the side. So I can really play with it and get that like sort of 70s look that's very on trend right now. So I'm going to start by putting everything towards the front. We're going to make sure that we create our guideline at the middle over here. And then the rest, we're going to texture after. It's a lot of information that I just said in the void right now. I'm going to show you what it looks like and show you how we do it. It's going to make a lot more sense. So first things first, again, I can't say that enough. So much moisture, so much water. I want it to be dripping wet because I want to be as precise as possible. I'm going to have as much control as possible over what I'm doing. I don't want to get to some sections and lose myself in all my guides because my hair is getting dry and I can't see my sections anymore. So I want to make sure that I put as much moisture as possible in my hair. And it's not going to be just one time, like over. If I see that like when I'm doing my haircut, I'm struggling to see my section, I'm getting lost a little bit. I'm going to add a bunch of water just so I can really be as precise as possible. That is also a running gag at the studio. It'll be like 3 o'clock in the day, and then everyone's like, I don't know where's my water bottle. Yeah, me either. I don't know what happened with my water bottle. And then everyone will look at my station and have everyone's water bottle because I'm too lazy to go to the sink to fill mine up, but I have no problem stealing yours. So that is what I do because I use so much water. All right, perfect. Putting everything towards the front. I'm going to create a little guideline. So I'm going to stand in front of you guys a little bit, not too much, so you guys can see. Create this little guideline over here. I'm going to just take my middle section like this, and we're going to make it just a little bit above the eyebrows. So I'm going to twist my hair like this. I'm going to go through my twist with my blade, and I'm going to untwist at the same time. What's going to happen when I do this is when I go through my twist like this and I untwist it, it's going to create a bunch of different lines that are going to go in. And instead of making something that's going to be very straight, there's going to be a little bit more textured and a little bit more lived in, effortless, keywords, baby. That's all about the keywords. Sweet. So show you, I go in and I'm going to create more fluid movement. The more fluid I am with my movement, the more wispy and textured my cut is going to be. And the more tight I am with my movement, the more straight my cut is going to be. So I'm going to be pretty fluid with it. I'm going to go in and then untwist like this. And then when I bring it back, it creates little uneven little section like this that I think is really nice. It looks very natural. Doesn't look like they just came out of the hair salon. So I'm going to do that the whole width of my fringe. I'm going to take this I'm going to go a little longer towards my sides. So I go in, twist, take it a little longer. See what happens. I like this. I like this a lot. Take it, twist, fluid, untwist. Nice. It's going to go just like that. Now I'm going to bring it forward with the length that I created on the side and just go in like this. And then create something that's going to be a little bit more fringy, curtainy, that blends with the light that I created on the sides. Same thing on the other side. Take it over here. Twist, twist. Boom. All right. This is fun. This is nice. It's starting to look like something. Not just a mannequin head straight out the box. Runway model right there. Sweet. This is a little bit long. Going a little shorter. Take it from the side. Push it a little bit forward. Go down. And there you go. Nice. Now I see the blueprint of my fringe that's getting started. I'm gonna bring everything to the front. And I'm just gonna create my length for the rest. I like to use my scissors at this point, just so I have a little bit more control over what I'm doing. Even though I like being a little messy, in this part, I like to control a little bit more what I'm doing, just so I don't go too short. I like to keep this, so I'm gonna go in, just create that. We're gonna layer the whole top anyway, just so at least now I can see what it looks like a little, like not fully, not the end result by any means, but I'll see what it looks like a bit. Sweet. I play with my little comb, play with my bangs, see what happens. Flip, twist. Sometimes I just slide through it to create a little bit more texture. All right. And there you go. I'm going to go to the other side. Twist. And create my little outline. So we're going to layer everything after. But I like to do this. Some people might be wondering, why don't I just go in straight away and just layer everything? I think it'll save a lot of times. Yes, but there's some people that have really, really thin hair on top, especially men, especially balding men. RIP. And I want to make sure that I create as much thickness as possible towards the front at first, so I can see exactly where I'm going to layer as of where for the rest of my haircut. If someone was to really, start having like a big receding hairline, especially towards the corner over here, instead of taking my shortest length like this and layer everything, maybe I'll go a little higher. I'll keep most of my thickness towards the front. I'll grab a little higher and layer this part instead, so it doesn't open up too much and it doesn't look like little spaghettis everywhere. Fortunately, this mannequin head doesn't have a problem in balding at all, so I can go completely at the front. First things first, I'm going to blend my top with my side. So I'm going to take diagonal section from the back to the front, and we're going to elevate my hair, follow the roundness of the head. I like to use my scissor for this part just to slide through, and I'm going to blend my top part with my side part, just like this. Sweet. Go in, take a diagonal section, push this part toward the front, grab this up, follow the roundness of the head, and blend my side with my top. So everything looks in harmony. Grab this. This is going to be my last section. When I get to my little corner over here, I grab this little part, grab it up, and so that way I'm isolating my fringe to have as much control as possible over what I'm going to do towards the front. I'm going to grab one more little section. This mannequin head is a little weird. That's okay. No discrimination towards mannequin heads. Grab it up. Follow my diagonal sections. Create my little blend. And here you go. When I push everything back towards the front, everything blends nicely. And you can see that my bag is a little bit more isolated like this. And I can have full control over what I'm doing. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So, diagonal section from the back towards the front. Follow the roundness of the head. Go in, slide through. I don't care if there's longer hair. I don't care if there's shorter hair. I want to create something as textured as possible. Follow the roundness of the head. Go in. I almost completely cut my finger right now. That would also happen a lot. All right. Grab this. Diagonal section. Follow the roundness of the head. Find my guide at the side towards top. And this last one over here. Find my guide on the side. Follow the roundness of the head. Create something that's going to be even and in harmony. And there you go. So sweet. Now I can see that my sides blend really well with my top. And I have this whole front section that's longer than the rest. So I can really play with it as much as I want to really establish the length that I want to create and the thickness of it as well. Like I said, this mannequin head doesn't have a problem in thickness, so we're going to take it from the front directly. So I'm going to grab a horizontal section like this from the back to the front. And I'm going to grab my shortest length at the front, just this one over here. If I push it just over here, if you guys can see, and we're going to do my little sliding motion to create texture and to layer the rest of my head. So it's going to create something a lot softer and with much more texture. That's going to be really interesting to play with after. So like you guys can see, I'm really going in. I'm following a line. I want to blend this part with the back over here. But if there are parts that are longer, I don't care. I don't care. Actually, I do care. I want it. I want to have little hair that are going to be longer. It's going to be fun to play with. It's going to add more texture. And it's going to create a lot of personality. So I found my guy at the front, right here. Every section is independent. So it's a moving guide. I don't take the same guide always. I really look at the shortest length at the front. Go towards the back. Take off this little part over here. Move it. Create this part over here. Bring it down. Follow my guide. Go in. Longer hair, shorter hair, who cares? That should be my motto now. Longer hair, shorter hair, who cares? All right. There's this little part that's a little longer. Just gonna go in, blend it a little bit more, and there you go. So if you can see, when I look at it from the front, I have one side that has a lot more texture. It's a little bit more easy to play. It's a little bit thinner. There's like openings. I'm gonna go in at the end to create more personalization anywhere. I'm gonna slide through to create more openings, to create something a little bit more lived in. But there's a huge difference on this side compared to this side over here. My right side, or left side from my client's perspective, is much more layered, much more textured. It looks more worked in compared to my right side, where everything's very heavy. It just falls. It's a lot harder to play with. So it's a lot more fun when there's more texture over here, at least in my opinion. I'm not the all-knowing. All right, I'm going to do my right side. Sweet. Slide, 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 slide. I used to do a lot of point cutting, and then I'd say maybe in the last 6 months, which is very weird, very late in my career, I started doing more slide cutting. I feel like I remove more, like I'm adding more texture by sliding compared to point cutting, and I really, really enjoy it. I just find that it looks a lot more natural compared to point cutting, which used to be like the exact opposite for me. I was like, no, point cutting is so good. You can remove so much more. But I don't know. Now I find like it's the opposite. I really like it. Sweet. I'm gonna finish this little section over here. Take it up. There you go. Bring it up like this. Short hair, long hair, don't care. All right. And then just gotta take this little section over here. It's a little too long for me, like I said on the other side. I'm just sliding it through to blend it a little bit more. I feel like there was like a little corner over here that I didn't enjoy, so that's it. All right. See the difference? It makes a huge difference like this when there's more texture and it's more layered compared to when everything was very long towards the front. Sweet. Now that I have a blueprint of my haircut, I'm going to add personalization in my haircut. I think the thing that I noticed the most with my client, the reason why everyone keeps coming to see me and I have a good client retention is that I make sure that every client that comes into my chair, their haircut is catered exactly for them. So this is a very generic haircut. We did the blueprint of it. We did the same formula and the same recipe that we would do for everyone. But now we got to make sure that it makes sense for their head, their hair, and their needs. So I like to look at it and see what happens. So the first things that I notice are the sideburns. In my opinion, the sideburns are a little too heavy. I feel like the length is nice, but this part over here is probably, like a lot of people have a little bit more density at the temple, so it falls a little bit over. So to me, it won't look, it might be nice right now. Even right now, it's not that nice, to be honest. I kind of think that it is too heavy. But even that, if it was nice right now, maybe in a week, it's going to grow out a little bit, and now it's going to be way too heavy over there. So I'm going to make sure that I take off this part over here. So this is where every lesson in hairstyling that you learn throughout the years. My God, that was really not a good sentence. Every lesson in hairstyling that you learn throughout the years comes into play. Everything that you learn about blending and everything that you learn about, like everything should be even and everything should blend and everything should look in harmony. Yes, everything should look in harmony, but not everything necessarily needs to blend. This part over here is going to be way shorter than the rest. So we're going to create almost like a little hole. So this is nice. This is nice. This in the middle, I don't want it. So I'm going to get rid of it. Simple as that. I used to be a freak about everything needs to be the same length and everything needs to blend. And now I'm much more free for all with it. I like to have parts that don't blend. I like to have parts that are disconnected. I think it adds so much more personality to a haircut. Get rid of this place, and then this is a little too straight for me. So what I like to do, take my scissors, just go in, open it up a little more. I slide through it to create little openings to make it a little bit more lifted and natural. So it'll open up a little more and it'll create a little bit more texture in it. See, that makes a lot more sense to me. That's much nicer. Sweet. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Oh yeah, look at this thing. So heavy. Sweet. So I take it. I'm gonna grab this part and then leave it at the bottom. I'm gonna grab just the middle over here, and I'm gonna slide through it. Get rid of it. Too much for me. Sweet. Same thing over here. Grab this. Get rid of it. Good boy. Perfect. Already it looks a lot better. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to open it a little bit more, let a little bit more light come through it, and make sure that it looks much more lived in and natural. Now, if it was a real client, I would just absolutely cut their hair right now. Cut their ear, sorry. So I got to make sure that I don't do that with a live person because they're not going to like me that much. All right, sweet. Nice. See, that makes a lot more sense to me. That looks a lot more natural. So I'm gonna grab this part, add a tiny little bit more texture. I feel like it's very helmety right now, just this little part. So I just slice through it like I've been doing. Sweet. All right, same thing with the front. I like the overall look of it. I don't think it needs too much more texture and opening, but I'd like to add more just for fun. This part I want to get rid of. This part I want to get rid of. This part I want to get rid of. This part over here. Sometimes that means cutting a big chunk, and that's fine with me. Same thing on the other side. Sweet. I think it just looks a little bit more natural, a little bit more lived in. All right, awesome. So now that I added a bunch of personalization in my cut, I am going to style it. Styling is a big part of my service. I feel like it's important for us as hairstylists to educate our clients on how to style their hair. If I can tell you a little scoop right now, as of this week, Redken and I are going to start a new series on how to educate clients on styling their hair, which is going to be also a big tool for hairstylists. It's going to be a new series that are going to be coming in 2025, 2026. I don't know yet, but we're starting to process this week. And I think the biggest thing that I see with clients right now is that they have no idea what to ask for. They don't know their hair. They don't know the terms. They don't know what products to use. It starts in our chair, but it also starts in around them to have a little awareness of products. I have a lot of people that come into my chair, especially men, that are scared of products. That are, like, oh yeah, I don't want to style my hair in the morning. I don't want to put any products in it. Yeah, this is my this is my mood board, and they're going to show you like a picture of Brad Pitt in 2008 at Cannes Festival on the red carpet, and he has like super like messy hair, and I'm like, of course, Steven, Brad Pitt at Cannes at a festival on the red carpet didn't put any products in his hair and just woke up like this and decided to just walk on the red carpet. It takes effort even to have something that is effortless. A little contradiction over here, but we like it. Sweet. All right. So first things first, add a little bit more moisture. I want to work with something that's going to be not too dry, not too wet either. I don't want it to be wet. I just want it to be a little humid. So my first best friend is going to be my beach spray over there. This is my Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything. It is the most easy products to use when it comes to your client at home. Especially your guy that doesn't want to put any effort into it. You just say, look, you're going to look like you just came out of the beach. You just spent a year in Australia surfing the waves, cool. You just put a little bit everywhere. I want to open it up to make sure that it goes under as well, not just on the surface. And this is gonna add a bunch of texture and give that nice beachy, dry feeling that everyone loves when they go at the beach. I'm gonna use a blow dryer. I always tell my clients, you don't need a blow dryer. A good haircut doesn't need a blow dryer, but you need a blow dryer to do a good haircut. So what I mean by that is, I don't want to just let my clients leave my chair with wet hair. Sometimes it looks very, very good when it's wet, and then when it dries out, I see that little hair, like that wasn't into place, that didn't need to be there or something, and it just doesn't fall exactly like I want it to. So I'm gonna make sure that I blow dry my client's hair before he leaves, and make sure that I do all my finishing touch-ups. And then after that, I say, if you don't want to blow dry your hair at home, it's fine. I did your job for you, basically. So you can just let it air dry, put some products, and you're gonna be good to go. So first things first, beach spray. Then I'm gonna do diffuser. I'm not gonna talk when I do my diffuser. It's gonna be a little too loud. You won't hear anything anyway. So it's gonna be full heat and mid power. I always do this movement, my little tap sign. Creates a little bit more texture. Now that my hair is dry, I do think that the bangs could use a little bit more texture. I like opening it more than that even. I like when it's not too tight, it's not too clean. So I just open it a little bit more. I think it just looks a little better. And it'll last through time as well. Nice. All right. When I get to this, just gonna add a little bit of texture with my texture paste. If I can get it out, sweet. And I'm just gonna work at the top of my hair. We're almost done, guys. Stick with me. Put it everywhere like this. Just add it on top of my hair. Not too much in it. just to enhance the texture a little bit more. And then it will be pretty perfect. And there you have it. That's what it looks like. I think it looks damn good. And like I said, it's a very fun haircut to do that you can do so many different ways. You can have it longer, you can have it shorter, you can have it so many different ways, and everyone can wear it. Hell yeah! Thank you so much, guys, for being with me today. I know it was a lot. I know there's a lot of information. If you want to book longer classes that we go more in depth, that we have more time to talk about stuff, we can also talk about price lists. We can talk about client retention. We can talk about so much more stuff. Please, please book me for classes. I love coming into salons with you guys. I love connecting face to face. It's definitely not my time to shine when it's on camera like this. So please feel free to message me at Jeremy Wilde over there. Send me questions, send me comments, send me pictures of your work. It'll be my pleasure to answer you. I start ADHD medication now, so it won't take me 2 weeks to answer you guys. It was a pleasure being with you guys today. Like I said, if there's anything, please message me. And thank you so much, guys. See you soon.